Hello again, this is Helen Bellino with a third instalment of the YouTube videos for our how to make a chook sculpture with our SNS sculpture medium and adhesive. So this is showing you what to do with the second coat of your sculpture, chook sculpture. So this is how it should look after the first coat is touch dry. And you can see it's a bit rough and there's all these wires. So the first thing you need to do is actually get a wire cutter and right down to the, very close to the sculpture, you do clip off all these sticky out wires and tidy up that surface. So you get rid of all those little wires that are sticking out. Okay, so you have a bit of a better surface. Then we've already mixed up our SNS, which I showed you in the video number 2. So we'll give it another stir because it's been sitting there for 5 minutes. And now we start to apply our top coat. So the top coat, we're after a smoother finish, and you can literally just put it on top. This is one of the things I just love about SNS. There's no complicated instructions where you have to like wet the surface before you put the next layer and all this sort of thing. You just literally smear it over the top of that first coat and you can see that it's taking up all the lumps and bumps. You can put more on where you need to if you want to fill it out and even it off, and you can put just a really thin layer where you don't want it to bulk out more. So you're literally just plopping it on like that and smoothing it off with your spatula or your knife or your applicator until you get a reasonably smooth and even finish. Okay, and you do that all over. I did mean to say also the first thing you need to do is the bottom. And once again, wrap a board in plastic and sit it on its base. Also, at this point in time, if your chicken isn't sitting by itself, you can actually put quite a lot of this sculpture medium on the bottom, all over the bottom. I'm not going to do it for the video. Just plop a whole lot on there and then settle it onto its base and it will find its own level. And then when it sets hard like that, the chicken will no longer fall over. Okay, so that's how I put it on initially. Then I wait about 20 minutes. So basically by the time you've done the rest of the chicken, where you started will be ready to smooth off. I did this side about 20 minutes ago and I applied it roughly like I did the other side. And now, look what just happened to my glove. And now what I can do with my glove finger is actually pat it, like patting a baby's bottom. Because the SNS forms a skin. And if you can pat it like that without your glove coming away with any much on it, then it's ready to pat. And you can see that it's actually smoothing out really nicely. It could probably have sat just a little bit longer, but you can see that that's actually smoothing down quite well. And a little bit, maybe 5 minutes longer, and I could keep patting that all over and it would make a really nice smooth coat. And you can see that's a perfect surface on which to do your mosaics. Now this SNS I mixed up an hour ago. Okay, this is where SNS really comes of its own. After 1 hour it becomes more like a modeling medium, which is just awesome. Now if you wanted to embellish your chook sculpture with some more 3D features, like say a beak, you could make a beak from your SNS and just stick it straight on there. So just push it on, make sure it's bonded, and then use your fingers or one of the applicators to sort of scratch it into place and then model with it. So you could actually add that, you could add a comb. Look how awesome this product is. Don't you just love it? I just love it. Oh my God, I just love it. Look at that. You can do all sorts of things with it. So that's if I wanted to add on some features like that. Also the tail here, I might at this point put some medium here. Just press it in and make a bit of a firm base, depending on what I want to do with my tail. I might make a wire tail here This one, I did just press the S&S in and make a bit of a base here on which I'm going to glue some ceramic pieces. Okay, so I will show you that in another video down the track, which is more to do with the mosaic embellishments. But basically this video is just about closed off, and I've shown you how to apply the third coat, make it the top coat, make it nice and smooth, and use the S&S, which has been sitting for 1 hour, as more of a modelling medium. If you did want to keep adding to it, you can. You can add all sorts of embellishments and just carefully sculpt with it like that. So as you can see, it's fantastic, and my chook's coming along nicely. So hopefully you'll have lots of fun working with S&S, and please send us photos of your chooks, works in progress and finished shots. We'd love to see what you make. Have fun with S&S, and don't forget to send me an email if you need any advice. Bye.